Nice to meet you, Sam Mitchell.
Nice to meet you too, brother.
I first off the bat, I've noticed you got some ancient video games behind you.
I do. They're pinball. They're an old arcade. One's broken though, unfortunately. It's the pinball. We're still trying to figure out how to fix it.
Okay, yeah, I've never heard of a pinball machine repairman.
Yeah, I know. They're still out there, trust me.
Okay, so Stackable Mental Health. We're with Sam Mitchell, who is on the vanguard, I guess, and spearheading the autism movement. And I'm very proud that he's chosen my podcast to be on. He runs a website, or rather, an entire movement called Autism Rocks and Rolls. And I'm very proud to introduce Sam Mitchell. Can you tell
Hey,
us a little
man,
bit
thanks
of,
for.
yeah. So, how did this start? You found me on LinkedIn, and you just decided to contact me, and now we're doing it.
Yes, we are.
So, what does Autism Rocks and Rolls mean to you personally?
Well, to me, it means personally that it is in the name. Autism really does rock and roll because they treat it as it's this negative connotation, but it's a positive attribute to society.
I think so too. In my opinion, I think autism. When I think about what I've gleaned from people that I've met who are on the spectrum, my synonym for autism is pretty much genius. So there you go. That's how I feel, and I'm very proud that you're working so hard to inform people that autism is not a disability, but kind of a superpower.
It really is, man. It really is. It's just the way you see it. I mean, yeah, do we stink at socializing to a point? Sure. I will admit that. But you're gonna judge me for the way I socialize. I don't get why that's a thing in society.
That's a pretty good joke too. I think we can manifest a joke out of that. That like seriously, yeah. So being, I can say I'm a very social person, but the awkward moments are those ones that I actually cherish. So, but yeah, not being a social butterfly is definitely not on the disability spectrum. My wife's the same way. She kind of likes her own circle, and that's where she stands. So yeah, let's get into this. You're a podcast host and a motivational speaker. That takes, from my end of it, it takes a lot of courage and self-belief. What's been your biggest personal growth moment since launching Autism Rocks and Rolls, Sam?
It's the confidence itself because for 15 years, man, I was bullied, excluded, dealt with all the stereotypes. But then as time went on, Autism Rocks and Rolls started happening after I founded my high school's media club. I found podcasting at least. I didn't wait till college to expand my skills, so that's when I decided to start Autism Rocks and Rolls. And after it started, it kept growing very unexpectedly, which is a good thing. Believe me, it's a very positive.
I love that. As pleasant surprises for you would be
Yes, pleasant
incredible.
surprise. You nailed the word, pleasant surprise. But when it grew, man, it's just people were starting to finally listen. And when I started seeing people are actually listening, I think it was the boost that I needed in life.
I'm glad. That makes me proud to know you. You've had like off topic now, but you've had some incredible guests on your show. Can you kind of like expand on what it was like to interview somebody like Temple Grandin?
Oh man, it was a pleasure and an honor. I'm still thrilled I got to have him on because you can learn so much from him. I mean, sure, do all these wrestlers, because I've had 11 wrestlers on the show, like Mick Foley, RVD, and Kane. Is it a cool experience? Oh, yes. But I think you can still take something from them regardless.
The only takeaway I had from the only way I knew or discovered Temple Grandin was from the movie with Claire Danes.
Yeah, that is a movie. She has a new one though too, and it's more of a documentary series.
There's another one out. I will definitely
It
look at
just
that.
released though this year.
Okay, I will definitely look at that. she was the pioneer for humane treatment of cattle. And
Correct.
she developed that kind of hugging machine that helped her with her spells. And
Yes.
when
Call
she
it
was in
spells. I
college,
call it meltdowns.
meltdowns. That's correct. So, Wild brother, you've done a TED talk, and I'm honored to have somebody that has actually done a TED talk called Sold Structure. What's the heart of that message, and how does it connect to you in the way you live your day-to-day life?
Well, it had to be virtual because of COVID, but still qualified as a TEDx talk. I might start doing
Absolutely.
it in person again just because of the COVID pandemic. But the podcast, not the podcast, the talk is about structure and why those on a spectrum need structure in their life to survive. Except I did an episode on pinball and talked about the structure of how sometimes those with autism have a pinball brain where they go, 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 go,
I'm
and there's
writing that down.
no middle. Like if you play pinball, there's no middle clearly that can stop. With us, if you try to go in the middle, it bounces outside. Not outside the
Okay.
glass, but it bounces back in the hole. Or back, not back in the hole, back out in the field.
Wow, pinball brain. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, so pinball brain is, as I mentioned a few seconds ago, it's go, 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 go. That means their brain never stops.
Okay, I
Their
can
wheels are
confirm.
keep their wheels are turning 24/7.
Absolutely. I think I can commiserate with that. I'm thankful I get to go to bed exhausted mostly every night because my brain is also one of those constantly on a power struggle. I deal with neurodiversity myself, as well as something called radical thinking, which is simply that I think outside of the box, and I've always got crazy creative ideas. And how do you how do you cope with your neurodiversity as opposed to neurotypical people?
Live my own life and do the idea.
Do the idea, I love it.
You were talking about how we do the ideas, like, well, how do you handle the idea? I do it regardless of people's opinion.
Nice. Let's see. I really want to get into the idea that I'm trying to think of where I heard it, but one of the first people that have actually completely came out with it, that autism isn't something to fix, it's something to celebrate. How did you arrive at that mindset? And what would you say to someone who's still learning to embrace their own neurodiversity, autism, radical thinking? And that would
Well,
be
I would
myself.
say to you had to embrace it first of all. You have to accept it. I mean, do I know I'm on the spectrum? Yes. I ran into parents who they won't tell their son they're on the spectrum because they're afraid it's going to hold them back. They're going to be put in special education classrooms. Big deal. You're robbing them from success. That's the first step. Second step for the child is I think where I got to where I'm at today because of self advocating. If I need the
Okay.
resource, I need the resource, and you're going to give me it, period.
So you championed yourself.
Yeah.
Wild. That's when I started out with, in 2002, I created Finding Your Marbles, which at that point in time had no internet exposure. And I started my advocacy talks with the framework that I'm championing myself and I'm speaking for others as well. Finally, I've got, and this podcast, Snackable Mental Health, started about a little over a year ago, and now I'm getting some dynamite guests, and you're one of them, my man. So you're not just a creator, you're not just an entrepreneur, you're not just a writer, you're not just a nonprofit founder. Um, what else can you say about Sam Mitchell that you couldn't discover on a website, a group, or a subscribable YouTube channel?
Well, that's hard because I do put my stuff out there a lot. But something that has happened recently that I haven't spilled the beans on yet is I started a job at Walmart.
What are you doing there?
I am stocking shelves.
That's completely admirable. That's incredible. Do you work the night shift?
Yep, I go from 2 to 11. We tried day shift, but they were taken out. So I thought, all right, what do you got? Because at this point, I tried finding a job broadcasting, and it's just unfortunately panned out because I think everyone's on a hiring freeze, and it's a difficult time to find a job. So I had to get something. And luckily, Walmart was hiring, just not the ideal shift I wanted, but I want my own space, and I'm ready to move out of my parents' basement.
That's awesome. You want your own space. Absolutely, my friend. For families who are listening, Sam, parents of kids, you've brought up the stigma that some parents have, or the utter fear of uh, having an autistic child. For parents of kids on the spectrum or young adults navigating their diagnosis, what's one piece of advice or encouragement you'd want them to hear right now?
Well, I would say the encouragement I can give you for the child is for the longest time, and I promise there's a point to this, so just bear with me, okay?
Keep going.
Okay, but not the promise, but for the longest time, I thought no one would find me interesting. Well, I realized thinking that at 8 years old was the stupidest idea I've ever thought of because today I have people. So what I'm trying to get here is wait for someone to find you interesting. It may be late. It may be when you're 60 years old, and it could be someone for you don't expect. It could be a World War II veteran. Could be your special education teacher. Could be a faculty member from your school. It could be a school lunch lady. It could be a custodian. It could even be a homeless person, but they find you interesting. And if you can get someone to find you interesting, in my opinion, you're doing something right. And I should have realized that when I had my friend, who is still my friend for the 15 years that I've had with him and still have with him. But at the same time, I was kind of selfish and wanted more people. And thankfully, I did get more people. I just wish at that time span, I think I didn't take that friend for granted as much as I did now. I still
Wow.
took him, and we're still friends today. It's just that I took him for granted. I just thought he's always going to be there, yada, yada, yada. And I didn't appreciate the friend more. I didn't appreciate the friend more than I should have. I appreciate him, just not as much as I should have.
So yeah, I like the idea that if one person steps up for you, then that's enough. I think that that's really cool.
I think it's all you can ask for at the end of the day.
That's amazing. I that brought up an old quote for me from a song I heard a long time ago. If you forget all the insults you've ever heard about yourself and remember all the compliments, tell me how. Tell me how to forget the insults, man, because one insult equals like 10 compliments for me.
Right. Or the other option you do what I did. Use your insults as fuel to a fire.
Fuel the fire with their
But make sure
insults.
it's the right fire. I'm not going to suggest your fire is going to go making sure your enemies are in bloodshed. No, I'm
No, I
not
hear you.
suggesting that.
No,
The
I hear
fuel
you.
I'm suggesting is, okay, I was called once, you're dumb ASF. How am I
Wow,
dumb ASF right now? Just answer that question.
that's amazing.
And
No, I understand that fuel the fire. It's almost like, having it's giving you the energy to push forward even more if you receive an insult. Just keep going. Be that late bloomer and keep going. I think we've got, like, you've broken barriers as this high functioning person on the autism spectrum. And I think we've probably already scratched the surface on this, but Sam, what are some misconceptions you still see about autism that you're trying to dismantle through your work?
well, here's one. So people forget it's a spectrum. A lot of people without autism think autism is this certain population of they're basically the mindset of 3-year olds. They can't go to the bathroom on their own. They can't brush their teeth on their own. Heck, they're going to have to live with their parents for the rest of their life. They can't go to the zoo. They can't go to a pumpkin patch. They can't do a haunted house, which, believe me, I don't like doing haunted houses because I get more mad than fun. But if for someone with not my understanding of this world, it would be a show and not the show you want to see. My point here, though, is that's not everybody on the spectrum. There are some people like that population I just listed that will have to live with their mom and dad or can't use the bathroom on their own. But then there's other people who are on the spectrum who maybe they're in the middle of the road. Maybe, okay, you don't pay the bills for them or someone pays the bills for them, but they can go to work. But then there's people also like me who is maybe, okay, biologically I'm 23, but mentally I would say I have the mindset of a 20 or 21-year-old.
So you're almost there.
Right. And who cares? I'm getting close. That's Matt, I catch up. But I can still do stuff. I still
think you're on the ball.
Stuff like most people. Do I stink at socializing? Sure. It's not it's not perfect social skills. I mean, if I had to rank my social skills right now, I would say it's a C, which isn't too bad in my opinion.
That's a passing grade.
Yeah, it's passing grade. But despite me stinking at socializing, I can still go do stuff. What did I say I was doing earlier? I have a job at Walmart. Okay, at 2:00, I'm going to work.
I love it. You needed something to pay the bills, so you found it.
So tell me though where we get this idea of everyone on spectrum's the same. It's autism spectrum. Okay.
Exactly.
It's a spectrum disorder. It's not multiple sclerosis, because multiple sclerosis, there's a lot of spectrums too. I think that you call it multiple sclerosis spectrum. But if it's not one disorder, it needs to be stretched out.
Exactly.
It's not one disorder. It's not like one disorder of, okay, muscular dystrophy, that's it. There's people on the one end and there's other people on the other end. People need to get that through their heads.
Absolutely, my friend. There are different. That's the way I go about it too. With the idea of bipolar, schizophrenia, schizoaffective, mental health conditions more so. I kind of did a deep dive yesterday about how the neurodiversity and the radical thinking of someone with a mental health condition or someone on the autism spectrum matches my own personal condition. And the thing that kind of coincided there with autism and schizoaffective disorder was that there is an attribute of neurodiversity, which is like simply that we don't think the same way as every other person on the planet. And I think you've got that as well. You've got this kind of like savantism where you're doing your life and you're a success, and you don't care what they think anymore. Even if you did at one point, you're just with the ubiquitous they are always trying to take you down a couple notches, but you keep using those comments and that stigma as fuel to the fire, so to speak. And I find that so admirable, my friend.
Well, I appreciate you. I tried people pleasing. It just didn't work. For some, it has worked. I have a friend who shall remain nameless. He is a people pleaser. It's worked for him.
That's funny.
And people liked him because of it. But for me, when I did it, it didn't work. So I had to have that mindset shift. Now, have I made some enemies because of that mindset? Probably. Have I made some people angrier than hell at me? Probably. But
that's part of your struggle, my friend.
Regret? No. No. It's better to have, in my view, enemies than regrets. And I think with people pleasers, it's the opposite way around.
That's wild. Okay, so what's next for Autism Rocks and Rolls? I mean, you're going to be busy at work is it a part-time job or
it's a full-time job? It's a full-time.
That's incredible. What's next for the website? What's next for the YouTube channel?
Huh.
Any?
So I'm trying to think here what's coming up down the pipeline for you. So I do know that in November, I'll be speaking at a couple special education conferences. One is in Oklahoma City, and the
Okay.
other is in Wisconsin. My new episode, I also, while doing a podcast, because our board has required us another resource, so totally cool with it. I have created a new children's television show called The Gene and Mitchell Show. The best way to describe that show is it's like Bill Nye the Science Guy. I don't know if you heard that show or not, but instead of
Absolutely.
Bill Nye and about being science, it's about autism. So in retrospect, it's kind of like Bill Nye the Autism Guy.
I love it. Keep going.
And it is a freshly new project. We only have 2 episodes out, but like I said, hopefully we'll get more as time goes on.
Keep it going, my friend.
I'm going to, man. It's working really good. I like the show. I think the content works really well. Plus, I like video editing. Been starting to get into it more. I was hesitant at first because I didn't understand that in college, but I figured, well, I'm there to learn on my own. And hey, Google's a good teacher too, right?
Wild. How about we did talk about Temple Grandin briefly, and you glossed over Mick Foley. What was it like to meet Cactus Jack and Mankind and Mick
Oh man,
Foley?
it was a blast. That's what's so cool about some of these guests I've had, a lot of these wrestlers on. I've seen them on my television screen, and
Absolutely.
now they're on my computer, and I get one-on-one time with them. Not a meet and greet where you have 30 minutes, like, okay, see you later. I get one-on-one time.
Yeah.
That is pretty cool, and you can't really ask for much to make a boy's day. And it's funny with some guests I've had. So Kane was hilarious because I remember being 8 years old, and this is at a time when I didn't know wrestling was fake. I know people have their
Oh,
own opinion about it.
it's choreographed,
Right,
but those
right.
guys
But
they put themselves through hell.
I thought Kane wasn't a character. Like I thought there was a real Kane out there
I love it.
walking out there throwing fire on people. And people said at that time, Freddy Krueger's gave me nightmares. No, Kane gave me nightmares. Like I
What
was
was it? What
scared
did you
of
guys?
Kane
What
as
did
an
you and Mick
8-year-old.
Foley? What did you and Mick Foley discuss in for your podcast?
We discussed, well, his son is autistic, so we actually
Okay.
had a conversation about autism. We talked about the Hell in a Cell match, clearly, with when he took his big bump. Took about his early career when he took a clothesline to the jaw and had a stiff jaw for a while. He couldn't really eat much other than soup and salad.
Wild. So was he Mick Foley, Cactus Jack, or
No,
Mankind when he went?
he was this ordinary Mick Foley.
Who is actually, I've seen him interviewed before. He is a very intelligent man.
Yeah, he's very humble too. I mean, I know a lot of people have their own different experiences with celebrities, but from my experience, one of the most nicest people I've ever met.
Nice. And I'm not sure. I don't really follow NASCAR, but I did look up what was it like. For a guy like Armani Williams to come on the show as being an autistic NASCAR driver.
Well, he was my first guest, and that one was more testing the waters to see if interviews were be good, and it worked. But like I said, for the first one, I was really nervous about because it was someone kind of big, in my opinion.
Yeah,
but my first big interview was Food Network star Simon Majumdar. He's been on Judge on.
I know who you're talking about. I'm a big foodie. I'm a big foodie, Sam. I know Majumdar. I know that guy.
Yeah, well, for the first thing, I thought, well, all right, here's what I'm going to do. A lot of people have celebrities on their podcast. I'm going to hop the bandwagon and give it a shot. He'll probably say no, sure.
Exactly.
Well, today, oh, hey, want to be on? You got to be kidding me.
That's and if no is the worst thing they can say, then why wouldn't you keep trying?
Right. I mean, who cares? I mean, if he did tonight, I probably would have said, celebrities aren't in the book right now, but okay. Simon was like the approval of, okay, there's a potential with yada, 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 yada.
Nice. Well, I think we're going to wrap it. This is going to be a pretty cool bite. We've got a little over 20 minutes in, probably 25 minutes. And I'm really thankful that you got through to me on LinkedIn. So let's promote that. Sam Mitchell Sam Mitchell has a website called autismrocksandrolls.com, where he sells some swag and has a donation area, as well as tells his story. And also on YouTube, he's got Autism Rocks and Rolls as a channel. He's got a bunch of followers. Please like and subscribe wherever you go. That really helps. We'd like to monetize things for Sam. Let's see, you've given me pinball brain and fuel to the fire and a lot to talk about with soul structure. Please tune into his TED Talk, Soul Structure, when you find it. And what I want to leave with right now, Sam, is if you could leave our listeners with one message about embracing who they are, autism, mental health, and all, what would you want them to take away from this?
Well, I think this isn't words of wisdom, it's the truth of life. If the world could be nice and not act so stupid, I think we get along so much better, man. Don't you think?
That's one of the best questions I've ever heard. All right, brother. Thanks so much. If the world cannot be so stupid, I can't even repeat that. It was so awesome. All right. We will be in touch, and thank you for being on the show. We'll post it. We'll post Snackable Mental Health with Sam Mitchell probably sometime next week on the YouTube channel, on the Rumble channel, on the Facebook group, possibly on Spotify and Instagram. And check out Snackable Mental Health, as well as autismrocksandrolls.com. Sam, it's been such a pleasure. Take care, my friend.